Welcome to this week's episode of the News You Missed podcast. This is just a weekly recap of all the big gaming news stories that have come out. I selected quite a few of them that I did not discuss in an individual video. Some of them consist of a lot of Nintendo Switch news, Activision Blizzard stuff, the new Apex Legends, and things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start out with buy a Nintendo Switch, get a $35 eShop credit. Pretty sweet. Kind of an awful deal, to be perfectly frank. When I say pretty sweet, you know, that's kind of sarcastic. To be perfectly honest, there's a lot of better deals out there that you can get. Not only can you shop on eBay and just save the money on the Switch itself and use said money to go and buy something without needing that credit, but you can also usually get yourself a game for free with it. There have been Nintendo Switch deals where you'll get a discounted Switch with 2 free games, something like 1-2 Switch or Mario Tennis. I'm not saying that every single time they are going to be cheaper than a base Switch itself, but again, $35 will not get you a brand spanking new game. You will have to throw up some of your cash. So that's probably where Nintendo was trying to go with this. You'll be spending some of your cash digitally if you want a brand spanking new game for it. So there's plenty of digital games that don't cost $35, but for those AAA releases, $35 isn't going to cut it, which is why I think this isn't the best deal in the world. Again, digital currency, companies aren't necessarily losing out on physical media by including a free game, which is why I think this isn't that good of a deal. But it's your money. If you are looking to get a Nintendo Switch and you want some indie games, this might be what you would be investing in. Luigi's Mansion and Animal Crossing have been leaked, apparently, along with the good old Nintendo Direct, I guess, rumors, things like that. So take this with a grain of salt. Apparently, there were screenshots taken of listings for Animal Crossing, which is Welcome to Animal Crossing for Nintendo Switch. That would be the new entry of Animal Crossing. And then Luigi's Mansion 3, again, for the Nintendo Switch. We know Luigi's Mansion is confirmed 100%. That is the real game that is going to be coming out, but we didn't have too much information, especially release dates for both of these games. So this is kind of a big deal, the fact that these games are going to be releasing and we have some leaked release dates. Again, take it with a grain of salt. If it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. You'll find out soon enough anyways. So there's that. Continuing the Nintendo Switch news trend, we have Xbox Live coming to the Nintendo Switch. And of course, iOS and Android. That's not the shock. The big shock is Nintendo Switch. Seems Nintendo is buddy-buddy with Microsoft, which is pretty strange if you really think about it, but not that strange if you really think about it. Remember, PlayStation and Nintendo have a very bittersweet past, where Nintendo kind of went with Philips CDI instead of PlayStation for their disc system due to royalties and a lot of things going on with competition. Point is, Nintendo really screwed over Sony. Sony almost didn't make a game console because of that. So it's really no surprise to me that they would be more friendly with Microsoft than Sony. So this isn't entirely a shock to me, but at the same time, it's a shock that we're going to see Xbox Live on the Nintendo Switch. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean, Proto? I'm going to be able to play Xbox games on my Nintendo Switch? That's pretty sweet. No, absolutely not. In fact, this might be one of the bigger letdowns that you could probably hear about, because you might assume that you would be able to play Xbox games on the Switch. No, you're only going to be able to access Xbox Live stuff, okay? Only friends list, achievements, things like that. And no, achievements will not extend to Nintendo games. Just achievements on the games that you're playing, like Fortnite, Rocket League, games that can crossplay with the Switch, with the PlayStation, with PC, iOS, Android, things like that. So again, Fortnite being the biggest one that a lot of people would really appreciate this for. A lot of companies are going to be given development kits, SDKs, software development kits, and they are going to be able to implement whatever they would like to implement through Xbox Live on the Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. And that will be their choices if they want to integrate things. Very, very similar to how you can play a game on PC and have access to Xbox Live. Because it is a PC game, you are able to do things like record your footage absolutely free with the Xbox Live integration and the PC integration tools and the side of things. On that end, you can do the same thing on your Xbox, even though it is not a PC. Basically, how it's going to work, how I'm assuming it's going to work. Whether or not they integrate the tools for recording on the Nintendo Switch, I don't know. Again, live streaming on the Nintendo Switch maybe, I don't know. This is all to be determined. But it is a step in the right direction for a more unified gaming community. We're going to continue on with merging your Fortnite accounts on the PS4 and Xbox One as well as the Nintendo Switch. There's not much to say here. I will leave a link in the description below to all these stories, but more specifically right now, this story, and the reason I am discussing this is that you can take the tutorial, and if you happen to have an account that you need merged together, you can do that. This is very, very nice because a lot of games don't do this. A good example of this would be Destiny 2. If you played Destiny on the original Xbox or PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, you would not be able to merge your account if you moved over to PC. Destiny 1 was not on PC, Destiny 2 is on PC. So all that time you spent on Destiny 1 on your Microsoft Xbox or your PlayStation 3, guess what? It's gone forever because you can't merge your account. So all that back history, all that backlog. And if you happen to play Destiny 2 on those consoles before the PC, again, you cannot merge your account. So it's really nice that Fortnite will allow you to merge your accounts from multiple platforms together, which again is a really good step in the right direction. This is a pro-consumer friendly thing. Despite hating Fortnite, this is a really, really good step in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep talking about games on the Nintendo Switch, and we're talking about Devil May Cry. The director says if Smash Bros. Fans wants Dante, you better ask Capcom for his games on the Switch as a starting point. So basically this article goes into talking about how Devil May Cry would fit into the Smash universe, and if Dante could ever be in Super Smash Bros., which surprisingly enough, I haven't ever heard anyone really want Dante in Smash. Probably because there's a lot of sword users already in good old Super Smash Bros. There are crossovers where Dante has appeared. Project Cross Zone 2, which is very, very cool, and that's great. It combines Capcom, Sega, Nintendo, Bandai Namco. But if you really do want Dante in Smash, you should probably get his games on the Nintendo Switch first. That would be the first step. So basically, the director stating to fans, hey, you gotta petition Nintendo, you gotta say, hey, look, can we get these games on a Nintendo console? And that would be the first step. So we would likely see Dante in the next Smash Bros. If we get a next Smash Bros, which we probably will, but you know how it is. The guy might have actually quit this time, but I don't know. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. I like Devil May Cry. If you like Devil May Cry, you let me know your favorite one in the comments down below. Devil May Cry 1 is my favorite. I think it's a very, very good game and a very, very fun game. We have Smash Ultimate Glitch corrupting save data when using the Piranha plant. So this is kind of a mixed thing. I've seen reports where people are saying they have a corrupt glitch with not only this, but also the Duck Hunt Duo and Me Sword Fighter in certain Smash Bros. So I'm not really sure. Depending on what you use, it might be an all-star Smash mode for Piranha Plant, and the Duck Hunt Duo and Me Sword Fighter in Century Smash can corrupt your save files with the new update 2.0.0 patch. This is a big deal for a lot of people who put a lot of time in Super Smash Bros., especially the ones who like to play single player, like me. I have Piranha Plant, so this is kind of scary. Glad I didn't play All-Star mode with Piranha Plant, otherwise my game would have been corrupted. But at the same time, I've also seen things from Nintendo where they have said, no, this is not an issue, we've done extensive testing, we don't know where these glitches are apparently coming from or why they're being alleged, but we haven't found anything. So I saw that on Twitter as well. Again, don't know how true that is, but I have to say, if Nintendo is putting out information saying that, hey, there's no glitch, maybe there's something else going on, but we'll see. All right, so just be careful out there with Piranha Plant and the other aforementioned characters. You can now overclock your Nintendo Switch, improving its performance. That's a clickbait title and very, very subjective at best. Ladies and gentlemen, technically, the overclocking community that have decided to come together to change things around on the Switch. Not exactly overclocking the console itself to improve, more like stabilize. The idea here is that you can control your clock speed more than allowing the system itself to take over and control it. So for example, on PC, if you would like to have an overclock on your PC, you have a CPU that's bound to 4.0 gigahertz, you would like to get that up to 4.5 gigahertz and get a lot more performance for your dollar. You would have to manually do that because your computer's not going to raise it to 4.5. In the same way the Nintendo Switch works, you cannot necessarily raise the clock, but you can control the clock speed. You can set the clock speed if it is already available. So for example, let's say you wanted to keep the Nintendo Switch stable at 2.5 gigahertz. Then you could do that with the things that have come out from the clock control community here. And that would be very, very nice, because then you could stabilize your Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild experience. You wouldn't get anything amazing out of it, other than some fact that you might get a little bit more stabilization. The CPU oftentimes goes up and down in frequencies due to the amount of use it is experiencing. So when it needs a lot more, there might be a short jarring period within milliseconds that you can detect where the CPU has to catch up and jump up in speed, and you will notice that spike. That is where lag comes from sometimes. Again, this is very, very subjective depending on the situation, the scenarios, and things like that. So there you go. Apparently people are controlling the clocks manually for their Nintendo Switches, which is pretty cool, but at the same time, not very useful to most people. Moving over to PlayStation, PlayStation Plus cloud storage has increased to 100 gigabytes. Sony announced last month that PlayStation Plus is going to get a big boost to its cloud. Check it out. You can get yourself a lot more cloud storage. Again, I wouldn't put all my stock in cloud. I would much rather just go and buy a hard drive. Hard drives are pretty cheap these days. You can get 2 to 4 terabytes for $50 to $100. You can walk in your local Walmart and probably buy yourself an external hard drive for a lot of storage. If you pay for PlayStation Plus for a year on a monthly basis, you're going to be paying around $100 anyways. Yes, you don't get the free games, but you do get to keep your hard drive handy, so if any of your information goes down, again, you can back that up personally with your hard drive instead of having to listen to Sony explain why they're very, very sorry they lost your save files and your games. Things like that, which has happened many, many times with cloud storage being hacked and used. Let's not forget, this is not 100% secure. Okay, so we have Apex Legends, ladies and gentlemen. This was a battle royale that recently came out. I'm not really sure how great it is. I'm not interested in battle royale games, just not my thing. It seems to be a going trend for a lot of gaming companies. Would not be surprised if Battlefield 5 did not jump ship into the battle royale. Call of Duty already has. Several other games already have. The trend that was started by Fortnite and good old PUBG. Point is, it's a free game that you can download and try, but do be aware there are microtransactions, and microtransactions are not fun. Because this is a free-to-play game, you're going to have to realize that they're going to fund it in some way, shape, or form, and that is with microtransactions. They do submit the odds for being able to get things. This game also has loot boxes of all things, which is just so ridiculous, it's not even funny. Because not only does it have microtransactions, it has loot boxes. Yes, I'm separating them because they are separate. The loot boxes aren't the microtransactions. You can physically purchase things. You cannot earn the coins necessary to get this stuff, okay? So there is a separate currency that you are going to have to buy, and then there is in-game currency that you can buy as well. But there is no question that you are going to have to purchase that. There are lots of skins. In this report, you would basically have to get a lot of loot boxes to unlock Bloodhound's legendary skins. They assert that if you wanted to unlock all 4 of them, it would basically take you 160 loot boxes to get enough to unlock all of the legendary skins. 160 loot boxes. Now you can get 45 free by leveling up all the way to level 100, or you could spend money, okay? What type of money are we talking about? Well, they have an offer for $99 US, if that gets you a kind of understanding exactly where we're going with this. You get yourself 10,000 coins with a bonus of 1,500. Again, digital currency that you're going to spend money on, and you're, again, not ever going to see these digital items for a free-to-play game that is on the PlayStation, the Xbox, the PC. You can download it, you can play it for free, no one's stopping you, but I think it's pretty ridiculous that one of the skins costs roughly around $20. Or, well, it's $18, but I mean, even that's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty sure you have to buy a rounded currency, so you can't just buy $18, you have to buy the $20. And then you have the leftover coins that you're going to want to spend on certain things, so there you go. Why is this bad? Why do people defend this stuff? I don't know why people defend it, but why it is bad is because you could potentially earn all of this stuff. Back in the day, Call of Duty did not have microtransactions and loot boxes the way we see it now. You had to be good at the game to unlock things like Blue Tiger camouflage, or to unlock certain things for your character, or to unlock certain guns. You either had to put the time in or be very, very good at the game, and that's just how it was, and it was very, very nice. Nowadays, you can buy anything you want, which is ridiculous. Again, Apex Legends, just a micro-transaction cash factory. Which, by the way, Titanfall 3 is not being developed right now. That was said. So, hope you guys like Apex Legends, because if you wanted Titanfall 3, that's not happening. Respawn also confirms that some Apex Legends heroes are LGBTQ. Good, great, just what I always wanted in my free-to-play Battle Royale ripoff Fortnite. That's always what I wanted, LGBTQ characters. The character Bloodhound, Apex Legends tracker extraordinaire, does not use gender pronouns in his character bio. Oh boy. And fans had speculated that the character does not identify as either gender. And when asked, it means it's non-binary. There's also another character, which is a large man holding up a giant shield. Gee, I wonder where they got that idea from. Overwatch! Anyways, point is, he's gay, I guess, because he has a boyfriend. So when I checked Twitter for some sourcing here, there was an individual who had commented on this. Listen, okay, they went on a nice spree trying to defend this. Okay, that's fine. You defend your ideals, things like that. But the first tweet in response to this that came up states this, and I'm going to censor their name and their profile because I really don't want these people being harassed. But listen to this. I'm in actual literal tears. I knew it when I selected them. I knew they weren't cis. I'm so happy. I'm crying. I love them so much. And this is such a good, wholesome surprise. Now, pardon me, let me just stop you right there. You are happy that the character you selected to play with is gender neutral and wasn't cis. This is what's making you happy. Do you now see why it's ridiculous in a video game that has nothing to do with sexual orientation? Characters are being shown to be homosexual, bisexual, gender neutral. It does not matter. You could have a gay robot for all I care. It doesn't matter, because if the game has nothing to do with sex, why do I care? But you can see here we have some people who are very, very overzealous on this point. It is so ridiculous. I'm in literal tears. Over what? Your character in an imaginary fictional universe is gender neutral, and that somehow brings you to tears joyfully because they weren't cis? What is wrong with you? Honestly, why do you feel the way you feel? That's such a ridiculous thing to say and state openly. I don't care if you are gender neutral. I don't care if you are LGBTQ. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. But the point I'm trying to illustrate here is how ridiculous and how extreme people will take these characters and what they identify as and what they're shown as and run with it, not even realizing that the company that is putting out these characters are abusing them. You are being used, abused, and manipulated. And if you are ignorant and you can't see that, then I'm very, very sorry for you. But they are basically using you as a marketing ploy. All these games journalist organizations are going to pick up on the story. Hey, look, these two characters are gender neutral and LGBTQ. Check this out. And it's going to fire up a lot of people on the internet. It's going to get them a bunch of clicks. It's going to draw up a bunch of controversy because that's what's happened in the past. And they know that. And they're going to use it to their advantage. Whether they believe in it or not, they don't care. Two birds, one stone. My game gets promoted and I get representation in a game. You are, again, being used and abused by these companies. Whether or not you identify as a certain something is your personal choice. I'm not ever going to take that away from you. It's just the point that, hey man, you know, it doesn't matter in a video game where you are killing each other in a battle royale scenario if you are gay, straight, bisexual, black, white, religious, non-religious. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. Because the goal of the game is to be the last player standing. Or so I am to assume if it is a battle royale game. I'm sure there are more game modes and different things that you can do in the game. Point still stands. It doesn't matter what your gender is. So, we're going to move right on. Activision Blizzard is reported to cut hundreds of jobs on Tuesday. Good luck, developers. Godspeed. I gotta tell you, if you're complaining about employment and jobs, you know, the only thing I have to say to you is, don't you have a smartphone? Those developers, those people over there, they're getting back exactly what they give. These are the same organizations that sit here and do ridiculous things. Again, Activision Blizzard. Activision just lost Destiny 2 to Bungie. Big loss. And they have lost several other things. Lots of bad stuff has been happening to them all year. Lots of bad stuff have been happening to them all year. There's no questioning that, and it's kind of coming back to them. They're going to have to put layoffs out because they need to make that money. And this is just a telltale sign that Activision and Blizzard are both suffering greatly for some of the decisions and choices they are making. So I'll leave it at that since I already spoke at length on Apex Legends, but you can kind of understand how ridiculous this is. Surprisingly, Disney is happy with EA's Star Wars games, which this is a real thing, okay? This is a real story. Do I even have to go in depth with the story? The title says it all, doesn't it? Okay? Really, ladies and gentlemen, Disney is historically bad at developing games. I guess I don't really agree with that statement because when they have developed certain games, some of them have come out quite well. It's kind of a guess and a check, a practice. You know what people want, okay? You know how to do it. You know what games are successful. You can take things that are successful from those games and you can put your own spin on it. That's perfectly fine. For example, The Force Unleashed was a pretty successful game. A lot of people say, hey, it was pretty mediocre. Okay, fine. Mediocre is better than bad, right? So what do? You make a Force Unleashed 3. Okay, you include some simple microtransactions for you to buy those various costumes and lightsabers, and you call it a day. And a lot of people would probably say, hey, it's a mediocre game with microtransactions, but you're improving. Epic Mickey was developed with good old Warner Brothers and Disney, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong, but I believe Epic Mickey was one of Disney's titles. Pretty decent game. Not the best game I've ever played in my life, but it worked. So that's nice, you know, that's good. I don't understand why Disney would be happy with EA when they are literally destroying the Star Wars universe and destroying a lot of their own sales and hardcore fans and opportunities for future sales and future installments on games. When EA has gone on record to say, we've canceled multiple games, multiple Star Wars games. These games could have come out unless they were bad games. You didn't necessarily have to cancel them. But they were likely games that did not sustain a profit-generating revenue. No microtransactions, no loot boxes, no opportunities to shove them in. Which is why they got canceled. Which is why we are here today. And which is why I'm reading this. Apparently, Disney just is bad at developing games. Star Wars being no exception. So they are happy with what EA is doing. I guess, I don't know, you could feel a little bit differently. I don't particularly know how to feel about it. Crackdown 3 is a Terry Crews simulator. Don't know what else to say about that. Terry Crews is a pretty interesting guy. You've seen him in the Old Spice commercials. Pretty cool dude. He's an actor. I don't know why I should read this article, but it kind of caught my eye. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys feel like Crackdown 3 is the Terry Crews simulator? Because from what I've seen, the footage, maybe not. I don't see Terry Crews running around our world, destroying buildings and things like that. As an actor, Terry Crews does ridiculous things within his starring roles, but other than that, actors are actors, video games are video games. So, is it a Terry Crews simulator? No, not really, but at the same time, maybe. I'd just like to get your comments on this. And I want to close out with a little bit more Crackdown news. Crackdown, the original, is free to celebrate Crackdown 3's impending launch. So it's hitting good old Xbox One and PC after numerous delays, but you can download and play the original 2007 Xbox 360 game that kicked off the series for free, which is really, really nice. And it is backwards compatible for the Xbox One. Okay, so Crackdown 2 is going to cost you $20, but the original is absolutely free, which is, again, very nice, because this is a pretty cool game. So there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that takes care of the recap for all of the news. There were stories that I did not cover, like Battlefield 5's lackluster launch and how EA blames single player. There's not much to say about some of the stories I did not cover, so I tried to cover a multitude of diverse stories emphasizing on Nintendo, and you can let me know if I did a good job in the comments down below. I would like your feedback. Again, this is not meant to be a heavily edited type podcast. Is just meant to be thrown in the background and allow you to watch and get caught up on the news that you missed. Again, in the vein of the title, the news you missed. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button, subscribe, and I will see you next week with another episode of this. Likely, this will be appearing on another person's channel soon, and I will be doing a deal with them, and I will be putting small snippets here. So if that interests you too, stay tuned for that. So I'll see you next time. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thanks for taking time out to watch this. Or listen.